It's the narrative that the left-wing media and the Democrat Party and the Biden campaign, well, it's the hill they want to die on. And that's President Trump calling him a racist at every turn, saying he doesn't disavow white supremacy. Of course, you and I both know he's done it multiple times. Well, now the Trump National Press Secretary making a CNN host reports the coordinated lie has been pushed all week by the Democrat Party and their allies in the media, including Fox News. Yeah, following the exchange that took place on Tuesday at the debate, where President Trump attempted to explain that he condemns all violent groups, as he was being tag-teamed by Fox News host and registered Democrat Chris Wallace and Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden. Well, it wasn't the first time that Fox News host Chris Wallace attempted to falsely accuse Trump of supporting white supremacy groups during a debate. He also tried it in 2016 when the president was running, or then the candidate was running against Hillary Clinton. And again, he did so last night. Now watch to see what really happened. This is March 3rd of 2016.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question. It was very clear. That question was also talked about in the form of groups. I want to know, which groups are you talking about? You have to tell me which groups. Ultimately, he got to the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow. And by the way, if you look on my Twitter account, almost immediately after the program, they were disavowed again. You know, it's amazing. When I do something on Twitter, everybody picks it up, goes all over the place. But when I did this one, nobody ever picks it up. Take a look at my Twitter account.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Senator Rubin.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
Are you
I'm
prepared
willing to do that?
I'm willing to do that. Sure. I'm willing to disavow. The truth, however, is completely irrelevant to the Democrat Party and the media. Wednesday afternoon, President Trump's National Press Secretary J. Hogan Gidley appeared on CNN, where host John Berman attempted to push the media's bogus, coordinated narrative that President Trump refuses to denounce white supremacy. Gidley was ready for the fake news, and he hit back hard with a dose of some real news that stopped the CNN hack right in his tracks. Watch.
He said sure 3 times. He has done it in the past multiple times. I don't know how many ways you want him to say it and how many times you want him to say it. Do you have any idea, John, what an exalted cyclops of the KKK is? Because Joe Biden sure does. He spoke at a funeral for one and praised him profusely. Any idea who George Wallace is? Joe Biden sure does.
Yeah.
He thanked the person who gave him the award for George Wallace's name. Any idea what a racial jungle is? It's what Joe Biden doesn't want his kids to grow up in. Joe Biden's record on race is absolutely disgusting. Donald Trump was opening up his properties to African Americans and Jewish people while you were still in local television news, John.
You know, one thing, Hogan,
this president has a record of respect and understanding these groups like nobody else. I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and let you call the president of the United States a racist when he is the only one. He is the only one.
He can defend his own record. He can defend his own relationships, and he did in the past.
Refuses to report.
Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. That CNN host, as soon as the truth was brought up, he just started talking over him repeatedly. He did not want him to get his message out, to bring up Joe Biden's actual record. Investigative journalist Michael Tracy blasted the media for helping the Biden campaign to create the false narrative that white supremacy is the issue, when in fact BLM and Antifa are the cause of the widespread riots that are destroying major cities across America. As someone who spent 2 months covering the aftermath of the most widespread riots in the last 50 years, this never-ending fixation with illusory, organized white supremacist groups couldn't be more absurd. It's 99% a media invention, totally disconnected from reality. Now I want to play for you again a supercut that completely dismantles the narrative that President Trump's never disavowed white supremacy. Okay, roll it.
He has yet once to condemn white supremacy, the neo-Nazis. He hasn't condemned a darn thing.
You've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem.
Would you
repudiate David Duke?
Sure.
David Duke and robocalls are out again, the white supremacist movement supporting you. Do you have any words for that?
Well, I disavow. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay?
When we looked at it and looked at the question, I disavowed David Duke. So I've disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter, and obviously it's never enough.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
When Chris joined, we had a news conference, and they asked me the exact same question. I said, I disavow. I disavowed then. I disavowed today on ABC with George Stephanopoulos. I disavowed again.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. Ultimately, he got to the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow.
I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
David Duke is saying to his supporters and followers, vote for Donald Trump. White supremacists are saying, vote. Do you want those votes?
No, I don't want them, and I don't want him to say it.
And you don't want the supporters?
No, I don't want anything.
What do you think of white supremacists, by the way?
I don't like any group of hate.
David Duke announced his Senate candidacy, claiming your agenda.
Are you ready before you ask the question?
Newt Gingrich said every Republican should repudiate this guy no matter what it takes.
And I do. Rebuked. Is that okay? Rebuked.
Rebuked.
Done.
Do you want white supremacists to vote for you?
No, I don't at all. Not at all.
His campaign is denouncing a show of support from the KKK's official newspaper, as in the Ku Klux Klan.
In the same New York Times interview, he denounced white supremacists. He denounced the neo-Nazis who support him.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. I spoke out forcefully against hatred, bigotry, and violence, and strongly condemned the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and the KKK.
President Donald Trump signed a congressional joint resolution that condemns white supremacy, neo-Nazis, and other hate groups.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
Any group of hate, I don't like it. Any group of hate, I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy, whether it's Antifa, whether it's any group of hate, I am very concerned about it, and I'll do something about it.
20 times he disavowed white supremacy. 20 separate times. Yet the media continues to blatantly ignore the truth. I don't know how much longer we're going to have to deal with this narrative, but we're going to continue to swat it down every time it comes up, because it is destroying the fabric of this nation. The media is 100% to blame.